The huge council chamber was filled with noise as creatures from 47 different worlds argued with each other. Some had 4 arms, others had wings, and many had colors that humans had never seen before on Earth. Ambassador Jake Morrison stood at the speaking platform in the center of the room. His dark blue uniform was neat and clean, but his face showed the stress of 12 long years. Jake had been Earth's voice in this place for over a decade. He had watched humans give money, ships, and soldiers to help keep peace in the galaxy. He had seen human scientists share their best discoveries with alien races who barely said thank you. Most painful of all, he had watched the council vote against human interests time after time. Today was different. Today would be the last time Jake would speak to this council as Earth's representative. The trouble started 3 months ago when the Zenthari, a race of tall insect-like beings, decided they needed a new holy place. They had chosen New Dakota, a world where 3 million human families had built homes, farms, and factories. The Zenthari claimed their ancient books said this planet was sacred to their gods. Jake had argued for weeks. He showed the council how much the humans had invested in New Dakota. He talked about the children who had been born there, the old people who wanted to die there, and the families who had nowhere else to go. He begged the other races to find a different solution, but the Zenthari had allies. Many races owed them favors or feared their military power. Others simply did not care about human problems. When the vote came, 38 races voted to force the humans to leave. Only 9 races voted to let them stay. Captain Lisa Rodriguez sat in the visitor area, watching Jake prepare to speak. She commanded one of Earth's largest warships and had fought beside many of these alien races in past wars. Some of them owed their lives to human soldiers, yet they had voted to throw human families out of their homes. Lisa knew what Jake was about to say. She had been in secret meetings with Earth's military leaders for months. They had prepared for this day, hoping it would never come, but ready when it did. Elder Thex, the lead Zenthari representative, sat in his special chair that was built for his long legs and 4 arms. His black eyes showed no emotion as he looked at Jake. Thex had never liked humans. He thought they were too young, too loud, and too different from proper civilized beings. Jake cleared his throat and began to speak. His voice was calm, but everyone could hear the anger underneath. For 12 years, humans have been loyal members of this council. We have followed your laws, paid our taxes, and sent our young people to die in your wars. We shared our technology freely and asked for nothing but fair treatment in return. The chamber grew quiet. Many of the alien delegates had never heard a human speak with such cold anger. 3 months ago, you voted to remove 3 million of our people from their homes. You did this not because they had done anything wrong, but because it was convenient for you. You treated our families like objects to be moved around for your comfort. Elder Thex made a clicking sound with his mouth parts. In his language, this was the same as laughing at someone. Small humans complain too much. Your people can find new homes. The galaxy is very big. Jake looked directly at Thex. All right, the galaxy is very big. Big enough for humans to find our own way without this council. A wave of surprised sounds filled the chamber. No race had ever left the council before. Most species needed the council's protection and trade. Agreements to survive? Jake continued speaking. The Earth government has made its decision. Humans will leave the Galactic Council today. We will remove all our people, ships, and property from council space within 30 days. After that, we will have nothing more to do with any of you. Admiral Ryan Clark sat in a secret command center on Earth, watching Jake's speech on a large screen. Ryan had been planning this moment for 3 years. He called it Protocol 7, and it was the biggest moving operation in galactic history. Even as Jake spoke, human ships across the galaxy were getting ready to leave. Every human colony, research station, and military base had received coded messages. Families were packing their belongings. Scientists were destroying their research files. Soldiers were preparing to abandon their posts. Back in the council chamber, the alien delegates were starting to panic. The Varaxi trade representative, a fat creature with purple skin, stood up quickly. Wait, please think about this more. The Varaxi people have always been friends to humans. We buy many of your products. Our trade agreement is worth billions of credits. Jake turned to look at the Varaxi delegate. Your people voted to remove our families from New Dakota? Your friendship means nothing when it disappears during important votes? Dr. Karen Walsh was in her laboratory on the research station, orbiting Kepler Prime. She had spent 8 years working with alien scientists to find cures for diseases that affected multiple species. Her computer screen showed years of data and discoveries that could save millions of lives across the galaxy. Karen began typing commands to delete everything. The alien races would have to find their own cures now. It made their choice. When they voted against human civilians, the hegemony military commander, a tall gray being with 6 tentacles instead of arms, tried to speak. Humans provide 30% of our peacekeeping forces. Without your ships and soldiers, we cannot maintain order in the border regions. That is no longer our problem, Jake replied. Should have thought about that before you voted to. Destroy our colony. Commander Steve Patterson was on the cargo ship New Horizon in the Zeta system. His ship and 50 others like it carried supplies between worlds that had no other way to trade with each other. Human ships were faster and more reliable than anything the alien races had built themselves. Steve received his orders and began changing course toward human space. Behind him, alien worlds would soon find their shelves empty and their factories without raw materials. The smooth flow of goods that had kept the galaxy's economy running was about to stop. Elder Thex stood up, his 4 arms waving in agitation. This is foolish. Humans need the Council more than we need them. You will come back begging for readmission within a year. Jake smiled for the first time in months. We will see about that. He walked away from the speaking platform and headed for the exit. Captain Rodriguez and the other humans in the chamber followed him. Behind them, the alien delegates began arguing loudly about what to do next. None of them understood what was really happening. They thought humans were just angry and would calm down soon. They did not know that Earth had been preparing for independence for years. They did not know about the secret colonies, the hidden research projects, or the new weapons that human scientists had developed. The galaxy was about to learn that humans could survive very well on their own, but the alien races were about to discover that they could not survive without human help. As Jake Morrison walked out of the council chamber for the last time, he was not just ending 12 years of human membership, he was beginning a new chapter in galactic history, a chapter where humans would never again be treated as second-class citizens in their own galaxy. The 30-day countdown had begun. All across the galaxy, human colonies received the same message at the same time. Every research station, military base, mining operation, and trading post got their orders to pack up and leave. What followed was the biggest moving operation in galactic history. On New Dakota, the colony that had started this whole crisis, Mayor Ben Collins, stood in the town square of Riverside City. Around him, 3 million people were loading their belongings into transport ships. Children who had never seen another world were saying goodbye to the only home they had ever known. Don't worry about the big furniture, Ben called out to families struggling with heavy items. Earth has promised new homes for everyone. Take your pictures, your memories, and your important papers. Everything else can be replaced. Maria Santos, a school teacher, carried a box filled with her students' drawings. Many of the pictures showed the purple mountains and orange sunsets that made New Dakota beautiful. Her students had drawn their families, their pets, and their dreams of growing up on this world. Now they would have to dream of somewhere else. The transport ships landed and took off every hour. Each ship could carry 500 people and their personal belongings. The bigger cargo ships took the farming equipment, factory machines, and other valuable items that had taken years to build. Captain Lisa Rodriguez was now in charge of organizing the military withdrawal. From her command ship, she watched hundreds of human warships gathering in formation.
Ow.
These ships had been scattered across 47 star systems, protecting alien worlds and keeping peace in dangerous regions. Status report from all battle groups, Lisa ordered her communication officer. Battle Group Alpha has left the Rigel system. The Altarian Defense Fleet is requesting that we stay until they can find replacement ships. Battle Group Beta has withdrawn from the Centauri border. The Coran Empire is already moving ships toward that area. Battle Group Gamma reports complete withdrawal from the Outer Rim territories. Lisa nodded grimly. The aliens were about to learn what happened when they lost their protection. The Coran Empire and the Helix Syndicate had been held back by human military power. Without human ships patrolling the borders, old enemies would soon be fighting again. Dr. Karen Walsh was having the hardest job of all. She had to destroy 12 years of scientific research that had been shared with alien species. Her team had helped cure 3 major diseases and had been working on solutions to problems that affected millions of beings across the galaxy. "We really going to delete the cancer treatment data?" asked Dr. Robert Kim, one of her research assistants. "This could save lives on 30 different worlds." Karen's hands shook as she typed the deletion commands. The council voted to throw human families out of their homes. If they don't care about our people, why should we care about theirs? All research data must be wiped clean. Computer screens. Across the research station went dark as years of discoveries disappeared forever. The aliens would have to start over and find their own solutions. Karen felt sad but also angry. The council had forced this choice on humanity. Commander Steve Patterson was coordinating the withdrawal of human shipping companies. The human merchant marine had been carrying cargo between alien worlds for over a decade. Human ships were faster and more fuel efficient than anything the aliens had built. "This is cargo ship Blue River," came a radio message. "Carrying medical supplies to the hegemony core worlds. They're saying people will die if we don't complete this delivery." Steve looked at his orders again. They were clear. All human ships must return to human space immediately. Blue River, you are ordered to return to Earth. Transfer your cargo to the nearest alien vessel and come home. But sir, the hegemony ships are too slow. It will take them twice as long to deliver these medicines. That's not our problem anymore, Blue River. Come home. Across the galaxy, alien worlds began to feel the impact immediately. On the industrial world of Mechanica, factories shut down because human cargo ships had been bringing them raw materials. The Zephyrian food production centers could not send their crops to hungry worlds because human transport ships were no longer available. Commodore Zelk of the Vraxi Trade Federation sent desperate messages to Earth every day. The Varaxi economy was built on trade, and 70% of their shipping had been handled by human companies. "Please reconsider this decision," Zelk begged in his latest message. "The Vraxi people are facing economic collapse or unemployment. Rate has risen to 40% in just 2 weeks. We have always been friends to humanity." Response from Earth was cold and simple. The Vraxi government voted to remove human families from their homes. Friendship means nothing when it disappears during crucial votes. On the alien capital world of Nexus Prime, Emergency Council Session 1247 was in progress. Delegates. 37 species had gathered to discuss the crisis. The chamber that had once been filled with confident debate was now full of panic and confusion. "The humans cannot be serious about this," insisted Senator Vex of the Aquatic Collective. "They are bluffing. They will come back when they realize they need our markets." Elder Vex of the Zenthari was not so confident anymore. Reports from his homeworld told of rising unemployment and food shortages. The Zenthari military had depended on human-made parts for their weapons and ships. Without those supplies, their fleet would be grounded within months. "Perhaps we acted too quickly," Vex admitted quietly. "The human military withdrawal has left dangerous gaps in our border defenses." The Coran Empire wasted no time taking advantage of the situation. General Krex, the Coran military commander, ordered his fleets to advance into territories that had been protected by human peacekeepers. "Just days before, the hairless mammals have abandoned their posts," Krex told his officers. "Now we can claim the systems that should have been ours long ago." The Helix Syndicate made similar moves on the opposite side of the galaxy. Pirates and raiders who had been kept in check by human patrol ships suddenly found themselves free to attack merchant vessels and raid peaceful colonies back on Earth. Admiral Ryan Clark watched the reports coming in from across the galaxy. Protocol 7 was working exactly as planned. Oh, the aliens were beginning to understand what they had lost. "Sir," reported his intelligence officer. We're receiving over 300 requests per day for humanitarian assistance. Food shortages. On 17 worlds, medical supply crises on 12 others. 3 separate border conflicts have started since our withdrawal began. Ryan nodded. Continue monitoring, but provide no assistance. They made their choice when they voted against. Our people. On New Dakota, the last transport ship was loading the final group of human colonists. Mayor Ben Collins took one last look at the town he had helped build. The empty houses and abandoned farms looked sad in the purple twilight. Will we ever come back? Asked 8-year-old Amy Chen. Holding her mother's hand as they walked up the transport ship ramp, Ben knelt down to Amy's eye level. Maybe someday, little one. But for now, we're going to build something even better. Something that belongs to us and can never be taken away. As the transport ship lifted off, Ben watched New Dakota grow smaller through the window. The planet would still be there, but it would be empty. The Xanthari would have their sacred site, but they would have to build their own cities and farms if they wanted to use it. Across the galaxy, the same scene was happening on 46 other worlds. Humans were coming home, bringing with them the knowledge, skills, and determination that had made them valuable allies. The aliens were about to discover that valuable allies, once lost, are very hard to replace. The 30-day countdown continued, and with each passing day, the galaxy began to shake. 3 months had passed since the last human transport ship left Council space. The galaxy was falling apart faster than anyone had expected. What had once been a peaceful union of 47 worlds was now a collection of desperate species, fighting for survival. General Alex Turner stood in the observation deck of the newly built Terran Border Command Station. Through the large windows, he could see the edge of human space and the chaos beyond. His job was to watch what happened in the old Council territories and report back to Earth Command. "Sir, we're getting reports of another battle in the Sigma Quadrant," reported Lieutenant Jenny Walsh, his intelligence officer. "The Hegemony Defense Fleet tried to stop a Corran invasion force. They lost badly." Alex shook his head as he read the battle report. The Hegemony had sent 20 ships against 50 Corran vessels. In the old days, 10 human ships would have been enough to stop the Corrans. But the alien races had never learned to fight without human tactics and support. "How many Hegemony ships survived?" Alex asked. 3, sir. The rest were destroyed or captured. The Corrans are now in control of the entire Sigma Quadrant. On the other side of the galaxy, the Helix Syndicate was having similar success. Captain Rick Morgan, monitoring from a listening post, watched as pirate fleets attacked defenseless cargo ships. The Syndicate had grown from a small criminal organization to a major power in just 3 months. "They're not even trying to hide anymore," Rick reported to his superiors. "Syndicate ships are attacking in broad daylight. The local defense forces can't stop them." Economic collapse was even worse than the military disasters. Supply chains that had taken decades to build were completely broken. On the industrial world of Mechanica, factories sat empty because no one could deliver the raw materials they needed. Factory manager Zeph Kohler, a 4-armed being with blue skin, stood in his silent production facility. Just months ago, this place had been full of noise and activity. Now the machines were cold and the workers had gone home. "When will the supply ships return?" asked one of his few remaining employees. Zeph looked at the empty loading docks. "The humans are not coming back. We need to find new suppliers, but no one else can deliver goods as cheaply or as quickly as they did." The Altarian Union was facing an even worse crisis. Their entire economy was based on mining rare metals from asteroids. But they had always depended on human cargo ships to transport their products to buyers across the galaxy prime. Minister Kalavos of the Altarian Union called an emergency meeting of her cabinet. The numbers were frightening. Unemployment had reached 60%. Government income had dropped by 80%. Food riots were starting in the major cities. "How long can we survive without trade income?" Kala asked her economic advisor. 6 months at most, Prime Minister. "After that, we will not be able to import food or medical supplies. Our people will starve." The situation was just as bad on the Xanthari homeworld. Elder Thex had gotten his sacred pilgrimage site on New Dakota, but his people were paying a terrible price for it. The Zenthari military had been the most advanced in the galaxy, but their ships and weapons had been built using human technology. Status report on the fleet. Vex ordered his military commander. Elder, 40% of our ships are grounded. We cannot get replacement parts for the human-made systems. Our weapons are failing, our engines are breaking down, and our communication systems are starting to fail. Dex clicked his mandibles in frustration. The empty planet of New Dakota was supposed to be a great victory for his people. Instead, it had become a symbol of their foolishness. On Earth, President Maria Santos was reading the daily intelligence reports from across the galaxy. The news was worse every day, but she felt no sympathy for the alien races they had made. Their choice, when they voted to remove human families from their homes, Madame President, said her chief of staff, we're receiving over 1,000 requests for help every day. The Vraxi are offering us exclusive mining rights to 3 star systems. The Aquatic Collective is promising to share their water purification technology. Even the Zenthari have sent secret diplomatic messages. Maria set down the reports and looked out the window at the busy streets of New Washington. Human refugees from the old council territories were building new lives here. Children were going to school, adults were finding jobs, and families were happy to be home. What's our response to these requests? Maria asked. The same as always, Madam President. We are no longer interested in helping those who would not help us. The most desperate plea came from the Varaxi Trade Federation. Kamado Zelk had lost 50 pounds and looked much older than he had just 3 months ago. His people were facing complete economic collapse. Please, I am begging you, Zelk said in his latest video message to Earth. The Varaxi people are dying. Our children are hungry. Our old people cannot get medicine. We will give you anything you want if you will just help us. The response from Earth was delivered by Foreign Minister Jake Morrison, the same man who had announced humanity's withdrawal from the Council. His message was short and cold. The Varaxi government voted to remove 3 million human civilians from their homes. You chose to side with those who would hurt our families. We are not interested in your offers. While the alien races struggled to survive, humanity was doing better than ever. Without the need to follow council regulations, human colonies were developing new technologies at an amazing pace. Dr. Karen Walsh, now working in a secret research facility on Mars, was making discoveries that would have been impossible under council oversight. The new medical treatments are working perfectly, Karen reported to her supervisors. We've eliminated cancer, heart disease, and diabetes in the test subjects. The genetic enhancement program is also showing excellent results. These breakthroughs would have been shared with the galaxy in the old days. Now, they belong to humanity alone. Captain Lisa Rodriguez was leading exploration missions beyond the edge of known space. Her ships had found something that changed everything, a network of ancient gates that could transport ships instantly across vast distances. The alien races had no idea this discovery existed. The gate network is fully operational, Lisa reported to Admiral Clark. We can now travel from one end of the galaxy to the other in minutes instead of months. This gives us a huge advantage over anyone who might threaten us. The discovery was kept secret from the rest of the galaxy. Humanity now had the ability to appear anywhere they wanted without warning. They could establish colonies in distant regions where no other race could find them. As the reports of alien suffering continued to pour in, some humans began to question whether they were doing the right thing. Lieutenant Jenny Walsh, General Turner's intelligence officer, was one of them. Sir, the reports from the hegemony core worlds are really bad. Millions of people are without food or medicine. Maybe we should consider sending some humanitarian aid. General Turner looked at the young officer with understanding, but firm resolve. Lieutenant, I want you to remember something. When those people voted to throw human families out of their homes, where was their humanitarian concern? When they decided our children didn't matter, where was their mercy? Jenny nodded slowly. I understand, sir. It's just hard to watch. Yes, it is. Hard, but the galaxy made its choice. Now it has to live with the consequences. The old Galactic Council tried to meet one more time, but only 23 species showed up. The others were too busy fighting for survival to attend diplomatic meetings. The chamber that had once been filled with proud delegates now held only desperate representatives begging for solutions that no longer existed. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. It had spent so long taking human contributions for granted that it had forgotten how to survive without them. Now the humans were gone, and the foundation of galactic civilization was crumbling. But somewhere in the deep regions of space, humanity was building something new, something stronger, something that would never again allow itself to be treated as a second-class citizen in its own galaxy. 2 years had passed since humans left the Galactic Council. The galaxy that had once been united under Council rule was now broken into dozens of small groups fighting each other for resources. Meanwhile, humanity had grown stronger and more advanced than anyone could have imagined. Ambassador Jake Morrison sat in his new office as Earth's foreign minister. His desk was covered with messages from alien races begging for help. Every day brought new offers of trade deals, territory, and technology in exchange for human assistance. Jake read through them with no emotion on his face. The Helian Federation is offering us complete control of the Kepler mining complex, reported his assistant, Carol Davis. That's worth about 50 billion credits. All they want in return is protection from Corran raiders. Jake set the message aside with all the others. Same answer as always. We're not interested in helping those who wouldn't help us. The offers were getting more desperate every week. The Aquatic Collective had promised to give humans their entire outer territory. The Mechanical Union was willing to share their most advanced manufacturing secrets. Even proud species that had never asked anyone for help were now begging humanity to save them. But the most interesting offer came from an unexpected source. Captain Lisa Rodriguez was leading a deep space exploration mission when her ships detected something amazing. Far beyond the edge of known space, hidden in a region no one had ever explored, was a network of ancient structures. "Captain, you need to see this," called out her science officer, Lieutenant Commander Nick Harper. "These aren't natural formations. Someone built this." Lisa looked at the readings on her screen. The structures were enormous, bigger than space stations, and they were clearly very old. But the most amazing part was that they were still working. "Some kind of transportation system," Nick explained. "These gates can move ships instantly across huge distances. We could travel from one end of the galaxy to the other in minutes." Lisa realized immediately how important this discovery was. With this gate network, humans could reach any part of the galaxy without anyone knowing they were coming. It could establish colonies in places where other races could never find them. "This information is classified at the highest level," Lisa ordered her crew. "No one outside this ship learns about the gates until Earth Command gives permission." Back on Earth, the discovery of the ancient gate network changed everything. Admiral Ryan Clark called together the top military and civilian leaders to discuss what this meant for humanity's future. "With the gate network, we can establish colonies anywhere in the galaxy," Admiral Clark explained to the group. "We're no longer limited to the regions near Earth. We can spread out so far that no enemy could ever threaten all of humanity at once." President Maria Santos studied the star maps showing possible gate locations. "How many gates are there in the network?" "Over 300 that we've found so far," Clark replied. "Most of them lead to unexplored regions with planets suitable for human colonies. We could double our territory within 5 years." While humanity was expanding into new regions of space, the old Council territories were getting worse every day. The Zenthari homeworld was facing its worst crisis in centuries. Elder Thex had been removed from power by his own people, who blamed him for the disaster that followed the human withdrawal. The new Zenthari leader, Primecast Vex, was younger and more willing to admit mistakes. She sent a secret message to Earth, requesting a private meeting with human representatives. "We know we acted foolishly," Vex said in her recorded message. "Zenthari, people are suffering because of decisions made by the previous leadership. We are willing to return New Dakota to human control if you will consider renewing our friendship." Jake Morrison watched the message with interest. It was the first time any alien leader had offered to give back something they had taken from. Humans. But even this gesture came too late. "What should our response be?" asked President Santos. "The same as always," Jake replied. "We're not interested in returning to the old system. Humanity has found its own path. The path humanity had found was remarkable. Without council regulations limiting their research, human scientists were making breakthrough discoveries every month. Dr. Karen Walsh is leading a project that would have been impossible under alien oversight. The genetic enhancement program is complete," Karen reported to the Research Council. "We can now eliminate hereditary diseases before birth, increase human intelligence and physical abilities, and extend human lifespan to over 200 years. These improvements were being offered to all humans, including the refugees from the old council territories. Children born in the new human colonies were smarter, stronger, and healthier than any previous generation. The asteroid mining operations were another success story. Without council environmental regulations, human miners could extract resources at 10 times the old rate. The abundance of raw materials allowed human industry to expand rapidly. Manager Tony Rodriguez oversaw the largest mining operation in human space. His facility on Asteroid Belt 7 produced more rare metals in a month than most alien worlds produced in a year. "Production is up 40% from last month," Tony reported to his supervisors. "We've got enough raw materials, too. Build 100 new colonies if we want to." But the most important change was in human military capability. General Alex Turner was now commanding the largest and most advanced fleet in galactic history. Human ships were faster, stronger, and better armed than anything the alien races had ever built. "Our new battleships can defeat entire alien fleets," General Turner reported to Admiral Clark. "The quantum weapon system gives us firepower that no one else can match. If anyone tries to threaten human territory, they'll regret it." The improved human military was soon put to the test. A group of desperate Corran raiders decided to attack a human cargo convoy. Thinking that humans were still the peaceful traders they remembered from council days, Commander Pete Johnson was escorting the convoy with just 3 human warships. When 20 Corran attacked vessels surrounded them, Pete's crew prepared for what they expected to be a difficult battle. "All Corran ships, you are ordered to withdraw immediately," Pete broadcast on all frequencies. "This is your only warning." The Corran commander, General Krex, laughed at the message. 3 small human ships against 20 Corran warriors? You should surrender now and save yourselves the pain of defeat. The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes. The new human weapons tore through Corran shields like they were made of paper. 17 Corran ships were destroyed, and the remaining 3 fled toward their home territory. "Report to command," Pete ordered his communication officer. "Corran attack repelled. No damage to human vessels. No human casualties." News of the battle spread quickly through both human and alien communication networks. The aliens were shocked to learn that human military technology had advanced so far. The humans were pleased to know that their peaceful expansion would not be threatened by desperate raiders. Lieutenant Commander Nick Harper was now leading exploration missions to the most distant gates in the ancient network. What his teams found were worlds of incredible beauty and richness, perfect for human colonization. "We've discovered 17 habitable planets in the past month," Nick reported to Captain Rodriguez. "Some of them have resources we've never seen before. One world has crystals that could revolutionize our energy production. These discoveries remain secret from the rest of the galaxy." While alien races fought over the scraps of their dying civilization, humanity was quietly claiming the best worlds in unexplored regions of space. The transformation was complete. In just 2 years, humanity had gone from being junior members of the Galactic Council to becoming the strongest single force in the galaxy. They had better technology, more resources, superior military power, and access to territories that other races didn't even know existed. When alien refugees started appearing at the borders of human space, begging for permission to enter, humanity finally had to decide what kind of civilization they wanted to be. The galaxy that had rejected them was dying, but the people fleeing that collapse were not the same leaders who had voted against human families. The choice of how to respond would determine not just humanity's future, but the future of the entire galaxy. 5 years had passed since humans walked away from the Galactic Council. The galaxy was completely different now. Where once there had been a united council of 47 species, now there were only scattered groups of survivors begging for help. But from the ashes of the old order, something new was rising. Something with humanity at its center. President Maria Santos stood in the grand hall of the new Terran Federation building on Earth. Through the tall windows, she could see ships from dozens of human colonies arriving for the most important diplomatic meeting in galactic history. The old Galactic Council was finally ready to surrender. Director Kevin Brooks of Terran Intelligence entered the hall, carrying a thick folder of reports. The numbers inside told the story of 5 years of change. Human territory now included 87 star systems. The old Council territories had lost 70% of their population to war, famine, and disease. Madam President, the alien delegation has arrived, Kevin reported. They're requesting permission to land at the spaceport. Maria nodded. Let them come. But they enter human space under our rules now. The delegation that landed that day was very different from the proud council representatives who had once voted to remove human families from their homes. Elder Thex of the Zenthari looked old and broken. His once bright black shell was now dull and cracked. Commodore Zelk of the Vraxi had lost so much weight that his purple skin hung loose on his small frame. Ambassador Lisa Chen, who had replaced Jake Morrison as Earth's chief diplomat, met the alien delegation at the spaceport. Unlike the old days, when humans had to travel to alien worlds for meetings, now the aliens came to Earth. Welcome to the Terran Federation, Lisa said politely but coldly. You are here under safe passage guarantees, but you will follow our security procedures. The aliens were searched and escorted under guard to the meeting room. None of them complained. They were desperate and had no choice but to accept whatever terms humanity offered. The meeting room was designed to send a clear message. The humans sat at a raised table, while the aliens sat in lower chairs. Maps on the walls showed the vast extent of human territory compared to the tiny areas still controlled by the old council races. Elder Thex spoke first, his voice shaking with age and defeat. We come to ask for your mercy. Zenthari people are dying. Our worlds are overrun by raiders. Our children are starving. We know we made terrible mistakes. Maria Santos listened without showing any emotion. You voted to remove 3 million human civilians from their homes. You called us hairless mammals who complain too much. Why should we care about your suffering now? Because you were better. Then we were, Dex replied quietly. We have learned too late that humans were the heart of galactic civilization. Without you, everything fell apart. Commodore Zelk of the Vroxy was next to speak. His once proud trading federation was now bankrupt and broken. The Vroxy offer complete surrender. We will accept any terms you give us. Please, just let our people live. Other alien leaders made similar pleas. The Aquatic Collective offered their entire underwater city technology. The Mechanical Union promised to share all their manufacturing secrets. The Altarian Union begged for just enough trade to feed their population. Lisa Chen had prepared for this moment for months. The Terran Federation had developed a new system for dealing with alien species. It was not the old council. System of equals. It was something entirely different. The Terran Federation is willing to discuss new arrangements, Lisa announced. But there will be no return to the old council system. Any species that wishes to join our new order must accept human leadership and human laws. She activated a holographic display showing the proposed new galactic structure. At the center was the Terran Federation, controlling the most advanced technology and the strongest military. Around it were smaller territories that could join as junior partners. These are the Terran Accords, Lisa explained. Sign these agreements will receive protection, trade opportunities, and access to human medical technology. In return, they will accept Terran authority in all matters affecting galactic peace and security. The terms were harsh but fair. Alien. Species could keep their own cultures and governments, but they could never again vote to hurt human interests. Any conflicts between species would be settled by human judges. All military forces would be under Terran command. Elder Thex studied the documents with desperate hope. What about New Dakota? Can the Zenthari people return to their homeworld? Lisa looked at the broken alien leader with something that might have been pity. New Dakota is now a human colony again. 3 million humans are rebuilding the cities and farms that you forced them to abandon. The Zenthari are welcome to settle on the southern continent, but only as residents under human government. It was a bitter pill for the proud Zenthari to swallow, but they had no choice. Their own homeworld was under attack by Corran raiders. They needed human protection to survive. Captain Lisa Rodriguez was now Admiral Rodriguez, commanding the most powerful fleet in galactic history. Her ships patrolled the new Terran territories using the ancient gate network that remained humanity's greatest secret. From her flagship, the TFS Independence, she could reach any part of the galaxy within hours. General were receiving distress. Calls from the Sigma Quadrant reported her communications officer. Corran raiders are attacking civilian ships again. Deploy Battle Group 7 through Gate Network Theta, Lisa ordered. Teach the Corrans what happens when they threaten. Ships under Terran protection. The battle was over before it really began. Human ships appeared through the quantum gates without warning, surrounded the Corran raiders, and demanded their immediate surrender. Most of the pirates gave up without firing a shot. The few who tried to fight were destroyed quickly and efficiently. Dr. Karen Walsh was now Director of Advanced Human Development. Her research facilities on dozens of worlds were producing medical miracles that kept humans healthy and strong. The genetic enhancements she had developed were creating a new generation of humans who were smarter, faster, and more resilient than their parents. The longevity treatments are working perfectly, Karen reported to the Federation Council. Humans born in our new colonies can expect to live for 300 years. Our intelligence enhancement programs are producing children with IQ levels 40 points higher than the old average. But perhaps the most important change was happening in human society itself. The experience of being rejected and then proving their worth had given humans a new confidence and unity. They no longer saw themselves as just another species among many. They knew they were special. Commander Nick Harper was leading the exploration of the farthest reaches of the galaxy through the Gate Network. His teams had found over 50 new worlds suitable for human colonization. Some of these worlds had resources that could power human civilization for thousands of years. We've discovered something incredible in the Andromeda approach vector, Nick reported to Admiral Rodriguez. There's an entire star cluster with no intelligent life but dozens of perfect worlds. We could establish a completely independent human civilization there. The future was full of possibilities that the old Galactic Council had never dreamed of. Humanity was no longer limited to one small region of space. It could spread across the entire galaxy and beyond, when the Terran Accords were finally signed. 31 alien species joined the new order. 16 others chose to remain independent and were left to face the galaxy's dangers alone. The few that had been humanity's enemies during the withdrawal found themselves blockaded and isolated. The signing ceremony took place in the same chamber where the old Galactic Council had once met, but now the room looked very different. Human. Flags hung from the walls. President Santos sat in the chair that had once belonged to the Council's rotating leadership. Jake Morrison, now serving as Secretary of Galactic Affairs, read the final terms of the new order. The Terran Federation hereby establishes a new framework for galactic civilization. All member species accept human leadership in exchange for protection, prosperity, and peace. Elder Thex signed for the Zenthari with a hand that shook from age and humiliation. Commodore Zelk signed for the Vraxi with tears in his large eyes. One by one, the representatives of the former council members accepted their new role as junior partners in humanity's galactic empire. Admiral Milsa Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the TFS Independence as it passed through a quantum gate toward the Outer Rim territories. Behind her was a galaxy finally at peace under human protection. Ahead lay infinite possibilities for humanity's future among the stars. The galaxy had indeed shaken when humans abandoned the Council. But from that earthquake had emerged a new world where humanity would never again be treated as second class. Citizens, they had proven that sometimes the greatest victory comes not from fighting for your place at someone else's table, but from building your own table and deciding who gets to sit at it. The age of human dominance in the galaxy had begun.